What's up, people? It's your boy Jatwan. I'm here today in Kerbal Space Program, and we are here today with Shielding Flow 1. There are a series of aircraft we're going to take out for a quick test drive today and see how they do on re-entry. This is because I wanted to test out some different re-entry methods, and I figured if I'm going to do all this testing, you guys may be interested in that as well, so you can see how best to shield your returning shuttles. So first up, I am going to actually test out some of these Clampotron shielded docking ports because I want to see how good that shielding is going to do. So this aircraft comes in at 44,906 credits, I suppose, and let's take a look at the parts. 47 parts, mass is 20.870 tons, and size, we have height 4.3 meters, width 7.1 meters, and length 15.4 meters. So this is nothing too shabby for an aircraft, and we're going to take it out and see what happens here. Alright, so, well, let me stop wasting time. Let's get testing. Alright, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and decrease... Oh, hold on, let me jump back here. Kick on our... There we go. Alright, kick on our engines, and now we're going to do a nice, gentle decline, and we're just going to... I'm going to try to keep these as similar as possible for our insertion. So I'm going to try to cut this at around 10,000 for each one. Well, bollocks that up. 9,000 for each one. That should bring us inside the atmosphere, and also bring us not too sharply inside the atmosphere, which is going to allow us to burn longer in that insertion. So yay, let's go back and let's see how this goes. Gear down. Face ourselves prograde. And then we fast forward time, and let's see how this burn looks. Alright, so first things first, we're going to get away from me and make it so you're seeing just the game. Yay! I know some of you are cheering right now. No more of that big face guy. That's alright. I like my face. So we're going to keep her nice and steady. Nice and steady. And let's take a look at our overheating. There we go. So this glow is going to show us the brighter it is, the lighter it is the more heat that part is taking on. If you haven't played with F11 thermal overlays yet, hopefully you have by now. I do a lot of studying in my when I'm gaming just to see what's going to do what, and so this is kind of what I enjoy doing. So we're going to fast forward through time a little bit and see what happens. I can only go 4 times speed, so that should more than suffice for what I want to do. Now, I am not going to make any adjustments to this insertion. We are going to let it burn straight through the atmosphere, so it's a clean test. I'm not doing any emergency maneuvers. If it blows up, it blows up. You can see right now we have some yellowage going on. I probably don't want to use that control. Let's stick with the mouse. Alright, coming in nice and hot. Oh, it's glowing. We have a nice yellow glow going on. Those shielded ports are doing a lot better than I thought they would. We have a lot of shaking going on because we have that fast forward shaking us all over the place. This is actually surviving a lot more than I thought it would be doing, which is really not what I anticipated. I thought those would have blown up by now. You can see right now we have a high yellow going on. We are losing some control. Gain it back. Amazingly enough, I am not on the controls. Get it, Jeb? Get it, Jeb? Look how bright that is. And we're almost through. And we are through. Look at that. So those shielding ports actually, let me get control back here, actually did a lot of good for us. We can kick those engines on now. And let's get ourselves going. Just stability. All right. So as you saw right there, can we bring back the face? There we go. Hi. Now, as you saw right there, we were able to bring ourselves back in fairly easily. Almost no overheating. Now I do have this ablator on the back, but it did not even get touched. That's that ablator you see back there. Did not even get touched by the entire thing. It is at full charge. And so we actually were able to survive by hiding our important bits behind the Clampotron shielded docking ports with no overheating, which is really surprising. I'll give it that. That surprised me because I thought it would have exploded. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. Well, let's take this one up and let's put this one up and let's go test the Mark II version that's actually using the ablative heat shielding. Be right back. Alright, so here is Shielding Flow 2 with the heat shields, and these are the ablative heat shields that you see on here. And let's take a look at the cost. The cost comes in at 44,206 credits. And let's take a look at our engineer's report. 47 parts, mass is 22.270 tons, and our size is, once again, 4.3, 7.0, and 15.2. So we are still looking around about the same. And not much cost difference. I have a feeling like this is going to go very similarly, but let's not guess. Well, actually, put your bets in now. Put your bets in now. Does this one do better than the shielded docking port, or does it do worse? Let's see what happens. Alright, right about 9,000. A little fat fingered on those controls there, but we got to do right about 9,000. Alright, so we should have a very similar descent, and let's see how well these ablative heat shields do when facing a similar situation. It should be interesting, because these are the ones, these are my go-tos, so if these don't work, I would be in shock. Now, keep in mind that those docking ports, they have their max temperature is 2600 versus most of the other ones that cap off around 2400. This is very interesting. They have a slightly higher temperature resistance than most of the other craft. Alright, so here we go once again. I'm going to go bye-bye for a second. There you go. Relief. You don't have to see this face. This delightful, scary face. And let's see how we look on the insertion. Hands are off the controls. It is in the hands of Jebediah to do with it as he will. Heat shields, glowing red. Well, orange. If I could, I'm not colorblind, I swear. So here we go. You can already see the heat being transmitted directly to the heat shields. No matter if it's directly behind it or not. But it's doing pretty well in shielding the parts that I wanted to shield. My wings are the important thing, because these are the non-ablative wings that I have in here, and I don't want those wings to, well, blow up. So that's where that shielding comes into play. That weird shadow going on there. Whoa, that's a lot of yellow going on. All right, burning hot, burning hot, with desire to land back on Kerbal. Whoa! Get those controls under control, Jeb. Get it under control, Jeb. Oh! And I wonder what's causing all that. That could be a number of things, but we are not here to see aerodynamics. And it punched straight through. Alright, let's get control back here. Kick our engines back up. Get control going on. And we are good to go. Whoa! I forgot that we had time warp. Okay, so we are back and flying. That went pretty well. Except for on this one, now we've lost a bit of a blader. Now, that's interesting because it performed just as well as the docking ports. Which is very interesting. Very, very interesting that it performed very similar to the docking ports. So, would you want to use a docking port and not have to worry about getting a new ablation heat shield on your aircraft every time? Because I mean, you can't really just say, okay, it's okay, we just keep going. You know, you're gonna have to probably replace that entire shield. So if you didn't have to replace that, would it be worth that additional extra charge? And it wasn't that much, weight-wise or cost. Very interesting. Let's try a different craft out and see what other parts can react similarly and protect our aircraft on insertion. Be right back. Alright, so this time we're going to use some of the clamshells, well, not clamshells, but the protective shielding here, the Airstream protective shells, we can call it. God, I'm struggling for words. But this one should be able to, I mean, you don't have to deploy them, and I don't want to deploy them, so I'm going to move that upwards. And we're going to see how well this does. Now, these have the heat resistance of 2,600, by the way. And it should be able to resist it as well. Is it going to be able to is a good question. We will find out, because that should technically be the same as the docking port. Let's see what happens. I'm very curious. Place your bets now. Bets in. Bets in. Is it going to perform similar to the previous two? Is it going to perform like the heat shield and the docking port? Or is it going to explode? We'll find out in a few seconds. Alright, let's see what happens. This one has a lot of pointy bits to it. And this one is, woo, that is sharp looking. It is very sharp looking. It is, I would not want to be the one to have to paint that all the way in, because that looks like it would hurt a lot if you touched it. Alright, so that being said, it should be extremely aerodynamic. That should be. Let's increase time once again, so we're not waiting. We want to see this thing burn up or fly. So burn up or shut up. Let's see what happens. Alright, so far we are a nice general color. There's no real difference. I have a feeling like this one is not going to work. I have a feeling like this might explode. But the good thing is that... ooh, Leia, look at that. It seems to still be protecting those wings, which is my main thing. But the cockpit may need some additional shielding. This would not, doesn't look like it would work too well for the cockpit. Look at that bright yellow. It is going to burn up. What are we? Is it going to overheat? Is it going to overheat? Look at it. Look at that bright yellow. What's going to happen is the question. Now, if this was Eve, I'd probably get a lot better test, but I think everything would just blow up on Eve. So this is really just a test for the shuttles. Oh, what's going on there? What's going on there? It actually seems to be doing pretty well. It does seem to, I mean, yeah, it is overheating pretty bad right now. But at the same time, it is really not slowing down at all. And it looks like it is through. We are definitely through. We need to cut on those engines and get ourselves going back upwards. Whoa! A big flare at the end there. Alright, so, as you can see here, it actually made it on through as well. What I'm seeing here is really surprising. Whoa! Whoa! What I'm seeing here is actually pretty surprising. I'm seeing some things that I didn't think would be working, and some things that I did not think would be working. Well, everything's pretty much evening out. My expectations are definitely dashed upon reality of the situation. Come on! Come on! Lift! 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 Holy crap. Alright. Did I? Oh, I see what I did. Oh, I am so sorry, Jebediah. I am so sorry. I totally borked that. I forgot to turn it away from prograde, which would cause it to crash right into the ground. Alright, keep that in mind. You have to do that. Alright, so that was pretty interesting. Yeah. You want to see what happens when we blow all these away? When you see that instant drag. That would be the one thing you would not want to do during flight. Speaking of drag, let's take a look at our last candidate, because it has a lot of drag to it. Alright, so this is what I call the sledgehammer technique. This is trying to punch through an atmosphere using, well, radiators. And you are forcing your way through that atmosphere and aggressively trying to cool off the aircraft during the process. So that being said, will it work is a really fantastic question. As you can see, we've actually I've done some great finagling back here, and I actually have the craft using the radiator panels as the tail wing as well, and I'm hoping that works as well as it looks. I also had to throw in some of these inline stabilizers because if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly, and unfortunately a grizzly bear is not very well at flying stable. It's not. I mean, if you could see a grizzly bear flying, put some wings on its butt or something, fly. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Now, not only did I have to change things up, but I also had to put a fuel cell array on there. Now, that fuel cell array I had to put on there because these need electricity in order to cool. So all these things are dropped into these action groups. So you can see here, fuel cell array 1 and 2. Switch mode for the rapier because sometimes it doesn't like to kick over, and then you have all your radiator panels that you get to cut on all at the same time. So there is actually one here on the bottom as well for the cockpit. So the Bulldog, the beast, punching your way through sledgehammer technique, will this be as effective as the others? You can see here it has cost us an increased bit of credits at 51,158. Let's take a look at her parts. Craft stats. Parts 60. Mass 17.89 tons. Size 3.4. Width 7.0. 7.0. Length 12.2. All those in meters, of course. So let's see how this one does when it's coming through the atmosphere. And you probably want to see how terrifying it looks on the aerodynamic scale as well. So, let me stop yammering. Place your bets, people. Let's see how this craft does. Alright, so here we go. We are ready for our insertion. And let's speed up some time. Keep it nice and steady. And we need to turn on our radiators. And I forgot which one does that. So, 1 second here. 1 second. Hold on. Yes, there we go. Radiators are active. I'm also going to activate the other electric generators, and we're going to speed up time a bit and stop pressing buttons because I'm doing horrible. All right, so here you go. Looking like a flying thermal duck. Taking a look at everything once again. You can't see the aerodynamics because it looks terrifying once it's in regular flight, but you can see right now where all our temperatures are going, where everything's leaking over to. It's being fought, sledgehammer, slamming its face right into the atmosphere. Looks like it's doing fairly well. Look at that, it's actually protecting everything I want it to. Those outer wings are taking a bit of... Whoa! Hey, well, here's the problem with this technique is that, well, things get a little hairy right around there. Because all the drag that we have going on. Now, we are through the atmosphere. I guess I can take control of this back again. And get this engine kicked up. And take it for a quick spin. We need to go prograde. Alright, so we're going to try to anytime this goes through. Come on, engines, thank you. Okay, we're doing pretty good. And now we need to lift our nose up. So, stability assist. And very carefully, very gently, not go the way we want to go. But it does fly. So, I think out of all, you know what, all four, let's line them all up real quick and see. Oh, this is what I was talking about when I said it has that hideous format when you're looking at the aerodynamic stresses. Oh God, that is hideous. That is so hideous. But we have stable flight right there. Alright, so let's line them up and let's see what we have going on for each one. And let's see which one. I know which one I would rather go with, but let's see if it's a surprise to you, and you'd have to let me know which one you would rather go with. So let's line them up and let's talk it out. So with them all lined up, I actually would prefer to use the docking port, because the docking port, I don't have to worry about the ablator going away. That would be great. I mean, obviously, I'd like to have a bit more protection than a docking port up front, but that also gives me the ability to do an insertion with a docking port already on my craft, so I can dock up to whatever I have in orbit. So it's something just to keep in mind. I can actually use that docking port instead of using an ablative disc that I can then get rid of later on. But I mean, that's definitely not 100% what it's for all the time, but it can work in that fashion. So these are a few things that could work, and if you play your cards right, you can actually use something like an air protective shield shell, which is pretty cool. The little air shield that works pretty well. But the most benefits comes from the docking port, because you have the docking port and protection. So if you decide to design your aircraft in such a fashion that you're using some type of part to shield your others, perhaps a combination of a radiator and a docking port would work, because then you're just worrying about your electricity. And so, you know, you're getting rid of that heat. It's actually just going away by that radiator, and also being deflected by that docking port. So that's just my thought on things. Definitely drop me in what you think, your thoughts on this all, and you know, we could see what part you have in mind that works for you on re-entry. But for now, if you like what you see and hit that like button, drop me in the comment. Let me know what you think. But for now, this is your boy Jatois, and I'm out. Peace. I could definitely continue to use them because that's awesome. And I think I was messing with the Mark II. I actually put some ablation. Yes. Oh, the fail is great in this one.